When Lewis Hamilton crossed the finish line in Barcelona, there was no celebration, no euphoria, no acknowledgement over the radio, just silence. And moments later, disappointment, as Hamilton realized something was wrong. The Ferrari car felt heavy, inert, as if all the power had evaporated when he needed it most. And now, through recently released telemetry data and Fred Vasseur's statements, we finally understand the reality. Ferrari's propulsion sector faces a critical issue that may have deprived Hamilton of his most promising opportunity with the Italian team. But what failed in Spain? Why did Hamilton's performance plummet after the safety car? And what was Ferrari's response? According to Vasseur, a transformation is approaching that could revolutionize Hamilton's season, even though most spectators will never perceive it. Don't forget to like this video. Follow the channel and stay until the end so you don't miss any information about the hidden mystery of Ferrari's power unit. This didn't simply represent a frustrating Sunday for Lewis Hamilton. It was coded communication from within Ferrari. Before the checkered flag waved in Barcelona, director Fred Vasseur had already released extraordinary information. In the post-race analysis, when questioned about the team's deteriorating pace, Vasseur offered no evasions. He didn't blame the compounds. He didn't mention tactics. He declared, "There was a failure in the vehicle during the final period on both machines." But this is where the situation becomes incendiary, as he didn't cease. He added that the difficulty didn't correlate with lubricants, indicating something of internal nature. And then came the devastating revelation. Vasseur confirmed that Ferrari is implementing modifications to the car, but not all will be perceptible. What's the meaning? That Ferrari presently operates in darkness, reformulating the automobile's core distant from admirers' observation and lenses. And this leads us to the fundamental discovery, the true narrative behind Ferrari's transformation in engineering methodology. The organization isn't merely executing improvements, they're reconstituting the vehicle's internal structure. Technicians in Maranello initiated substantial alterations to the propulsion, encompassing programming readjustments, energy distribution mechanisms, and reformed capture methodology. These don't constitute superficial repairs. This doesn't concern a new aerodynamic element or diffuser modification. These transformations are fundamental, buried in the automobile's electronic command center, where only telemetry can detect them. Let's examine this issue. What Ferrari is accomplishing is modifying how the hybrid mechanism provides energy during tension. Particularly, they're perfecting how electrical force from MGUK and MGUH is conserved, dispensed, and balanced during a lap. This is fundamental during elevated deterioration periods like safety car reactivations or end-of-race disputes, where application determinations in milliseconds can determine performance. If the automobile provides energy at inadequate moments or restrains itself through precaution, the result is what we observed in Spain: Hamilton disappearing to the grid's center while adversaries distance themselves. However, it transcends programming codes. Ferrari supposedly is also modifying thermal control guidelines in the ERS energy capture mechanism, enabling the propulsion to operate at superior temperatures without activating protections that restrict performance. Associated with new mapping schemes, this can transform how Hamilton relates to the accelerator and curve centers, how quickly he can apply force emerging from slow curves, and how securely the vehicle provides energy under pressure. In direct words, Ferrari isn't simply granting more force to Hamilton. They're seeking to offer force in which he can deposit confidence. The force model that doesn't dissipate when tire deterioration manifests or when ambient temperatures elevate. They're developing a mechanism that absorbs the driver's contributions and reacts with complete exactness, customized for how Hamilton drives, not how Leclerc drives, not how the simulator determines, but how Hamilton perceives it should. This isn't about surpassing Red Bull. It's about safeguarding a $50 million investment, ensuring that Formula One history's most victorious driver doesn't lose confidence in the organization that guaranteed him a final triumph opportunity. These transformations, imperceptible to spectators, hidden from lenses, can discreetly establish the entire season's outcome. If Hamilton reconquers security in this propulsor, this automobile, this organization, the confrontation hasn't ended. It's merely initiating. However, this doesn't represent just technical advancement. It's psychological confrontation, and Hamilton remains at the epicenter. When a pilot like Lewis initiates questioning of machinery beneath him, you don't compromise just performance. You compromise confidence. You compromise losing the only reason you recruited him, conviction. Conviction that Ferrari was prepared to build around him. Conviction that they weren't contracting a celebrity to ornament the workshop, but a commander to orient a revolution. And now, for the first occasion since this ambitious alliance initiated, we observe indications that Ferrari is truly paying attention. These internal modifications, silent, imperceptible, but influential, are the first real proof that the team is molding its progress trajectory around Hamilton's necessities, his observations, his driving profile. Don't be fooled. These reconfigurations don't concern just performance. They concern adequate timing. Hamilton's difficulties didn't emerge at period beginnings, they surfaced at the end. When compounds deteriorate, when temperatures intensify, when each element is forced to maximum, that's when the propulsion has failed. And this is exactly what these modifications were conceived to solve. It's no casualty that Fred Vasseur insinuated some modifications won't be perceptible. He's referencing reconfigured energy capture limits, anticipative application methodology, and improved motor brake scheme. All this directly affects how the Ferrari car reacts when Hamilton is forcing beyond the limit. This isn't about making the automobile theoretically faster. It's about making it faster when truly important. And here resides the decisive aspect. If these modifications prosper, Ferrari finally discovered a method to stabilize propulsion and awaken Hamilton's confidence. The atmosphere within Maranello transforms instantly. The Ferrari car converts into a distinct vehicle. Technicians cease resolving emergencies and begin constructing. And Hamilton evolves from disillusioned outsider to genuine competitor. Fundamentally, this entire narrative from Jeddah to Barcelona hasn't been about podiums or official declarations. It's been about dominion. Hamilton is battling for dominion over his destiny. Ferrari is battling to reconquer dominion over their story. And this battle's result won't be determined by one race or radio communication, but by what occurs in the automobile's depths, those imperceptible mechanisms, those reconfigured codes, that late instant when the propulsor finally resists instead of capitulating. And when this occurs, when Hamilton accelerates completely and the vehicle responds, that's when the true season initiates. Therefore now, the scenario is prepared. Ferrari discreetly fired the first projectile in what may constitute their 2025 campaign's most decisive stage. Not with spectacular aerodynamic modification, not with revolutionary front wing, but with something substantially more extreme. A redefinition of how propulsion itself behaves during pressure. A sequence of modifications buried in Ferrari car's command center. Developed not simply to preserve reliability, but to strengthen Lewis Hamilton when truly important. They brought Hamilton to Maranello for genius instants, for Sunday prodigies, for leadership molded in fire. And for the first occasion, the organization is beginning to proceed as if they understood they're not administering an automobile. They're administering patrimony. They're administering expectations. They're administering Lewis Hamilton. When you possess a driver of this level occupying your cockpit, you don't satisfy yourself with survival. You pursue excellence. But here's the plot twist. This narrative still remains undefined. These modifications can liberate a more stable and potent Ferrari car, or they may fail, revealing deeper defects in Ferrari's 2025 architecture. One thing is indisputable. Pressure was never so intense. The chronometer is advancing, and Austria, Silverstone, Spa all will reveal if these imperceptible corrections are adequate to transform Hamilton from disillusioned personality into intimidating threat. Until that moment, we observe a project in development, an organization in change, a legend seeking to write his final chapter in red, and a machine that, element by element, may be awakening to encounter him. And if you appreciated this profound exploration in Ferrari's universe, Hamilton and the silent engineering war occurring under the surface, make sure to press the like button, follow the channel, and activate notifications to never miss an update. Communicate to us in comments. Do you believe these hidden propulsor modifications will finally provide Hamilton the automobile he deserves? Or are we witnessing the beginning of something even more grandiose? A silent transformation within Maranello that can reform the entire organization? Whatever happens subsequently, one thing is evident. Ferrari can no longer permit itself to fail discreetly.